promised you guys a Q&A, so we're doing it today. Got some great questions in, so thanks for everyone that has sent any questions in. If you have any more, pop them in the live chat or fire them on to the Instagram channel, so Irish Strength Training, and I'll get to them in the next one. So, what's our first question?
Where can I find out about strongman competitions?
Okay, so this actually led to me doing a video recently, and I will put the thumbnail up and the card for it, the link up for it, so you can go into that. I've done a video on all of the upcoming events in Ireland for the next year. Now, there will be more coming up, so make sure subscribe to the channel, and again over on Instagram, follow me over there, and I will post any of the new events that are announced. But it's quite tough in Ireland to keep track of events because Strongman is it's only really kicking off in Ireland at the moment, so you really have to be following the gyms, the Strongman gyms around the country, and that's how you find out about the competitions. Just so if anybody's wondering, I am doing this in the car, but I'm being super safe, and Amy here is looking at all the questions, so I'm looking at the road. I am being super safe, so don't worry about it.
Okay.
So, question number 2.
Can people come see you compete, other than the people who were brought there to be camera people?
Yes, yeah, I'm always looking for camera people, so if anyone wants to come and decides to video, let me know and send me on the footage. But yes, most competitions are very, very spectator friendly. So the next competition I actually have is in a week's time, so it's this day next week, so the Saturday, and it's in GSP Gym in Galway. So if anyone is knocking around, a few people have actually asked me if they could come and see any of the competitions, so feel free, come down. I'll put the link in the description down below about the competition next week. If anybody wants to go to one but they can't make that, I have another one up in Derry on the 20th of March. They're all at weekends, so they're quite easy to get to for most people. And yeah, so check with the individual gyms if you want whether spectators are allowed. Now that COVID has sort of minimised a little bit, the restrictions have been taken away, most competitions will allow as many spectators as they want. So, number 3. Okay.
Are speed events more dangerous than regular ones?
Okay. So, just so you know, these questions, one or two of them I knew about because I made videos about them, but most of them I am hearing them for the first time, so some of them might catch me a little bit off guard here. So, are speed events more? They are, because obviously with a normal static event, let's say for instance a normal deadlift, you have a minute usually to do your lift. You can go in, you can set yourself, you're not in any rush, and you can think through all of your steps, the same way as you would do in training. You know, right, lock in the back, everything else. Whereas speed events, everything's about speed. So you are running to start the event, you are getting the lift done as quick as possible. So for instance, next week I have a deadlift ladder. Now, I am going to be trying to go as quick as possible, obviously. But I would say to everyone out there, the speed thing is important, but making sure you get the lifts is more important. So the old thing of the more haste, the less speed, that really comes into it. If you run up, you don't set yourself properly, you don't get locked in, you can injure yourself on the first part of the event, and then the rest of it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how fast you did the first bit. You can not set yourself properly, and then you don't get the lift at all. So all of these things come into it. So I would say in your training, make sure you've got 100% form on the lift first, then introduce the speed side of things. So go to whatever the heaviest part of that event is, go to correct form, do it nice and slow, and then only when you get that, start increasing the speed. But it's definitely more chance of injury and more chance of not doing correct form and not actually getting the lift with speed events. So it is something that really needs to be trained.
Okay. Now, one that's dear to my heart.
Okay, I'm worried now.
I'm vegetarian. Is it even possible for me to be a strong man?
No. Next question. No. So, okay. Sorry to all the vegetarians watching me. I'm joking. I would say 20, 30 years ago would have been incredibly difficult. It would have still been possible, but it would have been very, very difficult. Now there are so many options out there. Like most protein powders these days are vegetarian, and there's quite a lot of vegan options out there as well. So nowadays it's not that hard if you're vegetarian. You could quite easily be a strength athlete on a vegetarian diet. Again, the more restrictions you have, the more difficult it is. So if you are a vegetarian, it's just one more sort of thing you have to get past. Same if you're a vegan, obviously it makes it that little bit tougher. But you be you, and anything is possible. So don't let somebody say, oh, you're vegetarian, it's going to be impossible for you to bulk, anything like that. It's all possible. There are so many different supplements out there that you can bulk, and you can be a strength athlete no matter what your restrictions are. Same thing for Amy. If you're gluten-free, if that's another thing. So we've got a vegetarian gluten-free person over here. So I
can eat cheese.
It's
fine.
It's all you need for bulking.
Cheese-based protein.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, she's probably lifting more than me soon, to be honest. It makes it a little bit more difficult. That's obvious. It's the same as if you've got a certain injury. It makes things more difficult, but it does not mean that you can't fulfill your goal. So, yeah. Anybody can be a strong man or a strong woman.
Very diplomatic of you. You didn't say anything about anybody at all. Vegans are absolutely valid and okay.
Yes, we are equal opportunities motivators. So no matter what you decide to do in your life, I think you can achieve anything. So
you too can lift things.
You too can be a lifter.
And speaking about everything else that you do in your life, how do you balance full-time job and strongman training?
Yeah, it's
how much sleep do you get?
It's a juggling act, I will say that. I will say on the sleep thing, get 7 to 8 hours a night, okay? Make sure you get 7 to 8, because that is one of the biggest things for muscle growth and for actual strength gains, everything else, is making sure you get the sleep. The waffling now, I'm going completely off topic. What was the question?
How do you balance work and strongman training?
So, it is difficult, because especially with strongman training, when you're lifting heavier weights and you're going for strength, so you're doing 3 reps, 5 reps, you want longer breaks between the sets. So if you're doing deadlift and you do a set of 3 at 90% of your 1 rep max, it means that you're going to need anything from 2 to even 5 minutes rest between your sets. Now, this means that your training sessions drag on. So my training sessions can be anywhere from 2 to 4 hours, which is a long time to spend in the gym. And some people will think, oh, you'll be exhausted. The last 2 hours is going to be waste. But because you're taking longer rest periods, you are able to keep the training levels up. But it does really dig into your day. If you're losing 3 hours on average every training day, 5 days a week, that's a lot. Especially if you've got the full-time job, 9 hours, and then you've got, or 8 hours, and then you've got the gym training. The other thing I would say is, obviously you don't want to let your personal life also suffer. So if you've got a partner back home, if you've got kids, stuff like that, you need to make quality time for them as well. It is a juggling act. The one thing I would say with your personal life, try to involve the people in your life as much as possible. hence why Amy is holding the phone here at the moment.
And holds the phone and camera at the competitions.
And scream at me and tell me to lift stuff.
And remembers that YouTube shorts are a thing.
Yes, yeah. I didn't know that up until 2 weeks ago.
Thank you. Actually, I will interrupt to say thank you so much to Ella for the donation. And for the shout out. Thank you so much. That's so kind of you.
Thank you very much. This is the problem with doing it on the phone, where I can't actually see any of the live chat. So please comment away. Amy will tell me any of the questions or comments that are coming in. But yes, getting back to the actual question, I keep drifting away from it. Personally, involve your family or your loved ones as much as possible, because they're the ones that, if you go off and you just go, right, I'm doing this is my thing, I'm doing it on my own, they're the ones that are left at home going, oh, we never see him or her, or we don't see them anymore. So try to involve them as much as possible. And to be honest, strongman strength sports are really cool. You don't have to take part to enjoy strength sports, so most of your family will actually really enjoy it. With the work balance with your training, it's one of those things, you may have to start getting up earlier, try to fit in your gym sessions before you get to work, or when you're coming home. I would say, as much as possible, try and do your gym sessions as early as possible after you finish work, because if you go home, you eat dinner, you sit down, the energy levels do start to drop quite quickly and you have a lot of distractions. So fitting in your training sessions is tough, but you can do it. And the other thing is to, if possible, start assembling, and if you have the space, start assembling your own equipment. Because if you have it at home, if you have half an hour to jump in and do some log training, it's brilliant, it's fantastic. You don't have to spend 10 minutes going to a gym, 10 minutes getting your gear on, 10 minutes home. That's half an hour that you could, if you had the equipment at home, straight in, quick session, and you're getting the benefit. So it's the same principle as people who have an exercise bike at home doing cardio, just exactly
watching Netflix, doing some curls.
Yeah, and the other thing is, obviously, if you're doing your training at home, you don't have to worry, well, I'm leaving the kids for an hour, or my partner doesn't see me for an hour, because you're in the same house. They can wander in, they can have a chat with you while you're having your rest or whatever else. So it's more involving. Now, strongman equipment is expensive. I do have a playlist. I'll actually put the link up for playlist on creating your own strongman equipment. But you can get kegs off your local bar, or when they're closed you can sneak down and procure some that are outside. An inexpensive thing. A lot of the strongman training can be done outside, so you don't need your room in the house or your shed or anything like that. You can have some kegs sitting outside. You can have a sandbag here, even sandbag liner. They're £5, you'll pick one up. So all the stuff you can make do, and you can do it outside. You don't need specific space. So that would be my advice. It's a long-winded answer, but there you go.
So I also want to just have some shout outs to Gain Bros, who has commented, and Distance Training, saying hello from Birmingham, UK, saying inspirational channel, excellent advice. I own some equipment but have made my own. Also shared the channel to YouTube and Facebook. Thank you.
Thank you very much, guys. We will throw the links to everyone that's commented. We'll throw the links in the description below, and I would say the people that are in my YouTube family, the guys especially there that are commenting, so supportive. Thank you very much, guys. So yeah, anybody that is watching, click on over to their channels, give them a subscribe as well. They will give the same back, and they give so much support, so it's a really good thing to do.
That's actually not a question thing, but as someone who did not know that Strongman existed before knowing you,
yes, yeah.
The community in it is so good. Everyone's so supportive. From someone who, I only would have done competitive sports before, where you want to beat the other person, even physically, but the fact that everyone's cheering for you to make that lift, to shouting advice, making sure that you get the best that you can out of it, like, there's people supporting you even if you're beating their number of reps.
It's the most incredible. Like, I did powerlifting for years, and I represented Ireland obstacle course running, and I did a load of marathon running, all these different sports. Strongman is the one sport where it doesn't matter if I'm lifting against somebody and I need to beat them. So I've done whatever deadlift, 250, whatever, and then they are going up for 260, and I know, right, my last lift is done, their lift, if they do it, they'll beat me. I will still be cheering them on. It's one of those sports. It does not, you're happy obviously if you win, you're delighted with your numbers, but it does not matter at the end of the day. It's just everyone wants each other to succeed. And I genuinely, in the competitions I've done with Strongman, I don't think I've ever once seen anybody begrudge anyone else. I don't think I've seen anybody looking over going, I hope he doesn't get the lift. It's always been super positive. So yeah, if you ever get the chance to train Strongman or even go to a competition, the atmosphere is incredible. It's such a positive environment. So definitely go and see it. And going back to one of the first questions, if anyone does want to come to see any of my competitions, most of them are completely free to go into. So send me a message, Instagram or in the comments below, and let me know if you're coming to any of the competitions. You would be more than welcome, guys.
Yeah, and sorry about that, Game Bros. I know you're saying the audio is going in and out. Unfortunately, we're on a phone in a car, so it's a little difficult right now.
Oh no!
But we'll try. We'll do better. We promise. We'll get your microphone set up and everything for
and this is actually the first live stream video I've done. So yeah, the audio we should have tested this more, but yeah, we'll iron out some of the kinks.
Well, this is the test, because for everyone, I know you're saying that coming from the UK, obviously you won't be able to attend the Galway competition at the drop of a hat, but we will be live streaming the competition on Saturday.
So yeah, we'll be live streaming the competition. I'll do an update on the competition and obviously the live stream and everything else. I'll do a video at this week, and I will be putting the link to the live stream up. But I'll also be posting information and the link on Instagram. So if you're not, follow me over there, Irish Strength Training. And yeah, we'll just keep you updated about that link. But we'll have hopefully the entire competition, which you don't normally get with Strongman competitions. You get the big ones that you end up paying for, but there's very few Strongman competitions where you see the full day. So down GSB Gym in Galway, and hopefully we'll get everyone's lifts. So anybody that is competing, you can tell your family and they'll be able to see all of the events.
Yeah, and Get Strong by 40. This is multitasking in some ways. He's not holding the phone. I'm holding the phone, so he's not breaking any laws. Yep. He's driving and answering questions, which is about the level of multitasking that we can manage right now on a weekend. But
yes, I'm definitely, yeah. I'm a man. I can't multitask. Come on, it's just, driving's hard enough. That's one task. But
he lifts things.
I can do that.
That's the standard.
Get Strong 40 again for anybody who's watching. Click on over. I've said it to you before, mate. Your progress is unreal. So anybody that is watching, click on over to see Get Strong 40's channel as well.
And I'm just going to suggest, because it's a live stream and you can't tell me not to suggest this, that what you're saying about more lives, Gain, I would love to see a live stream where the people watching get to choose the exercise that you do.
Oh no. They'll tell me CrossFit exercises or something, or yoga.
It would be a wonderful challenge to see you trying to do some Pilates after all your strongman things, or just the most difficult presses that you can think of for him to do.
I know. Gain Brothers, guys.
He's just sent 5 laughing emojis.
You guys to be doing calisthenics and everything. I'm not built for that stuff, so I'm not taking suggestions.
Challenge. Maybe the people who are doing more cardio based, they do a live where they do some heavy strongman training. They do a farmer's walk. You do some calisthenics.
I am really hoping the audio is breaking up right now so they can't hear what you're saying.
I would just like to throw down a gauntlet, okay? I'll lift the smallest stone you can find next to you. If you do, because I know we mentioned about the challenge for challenge. Oh, Game Bros accepted. You pick his and he'll pick yours. Yes! I'm noting that down. We are absolutely doing that.
I'm cancelling my YouTube channel. I'll see you guys later.
I know. He was talking about the speaking as a gluten-free vegetarian and eat like your girlfriend tag, where you have to eat around about 1,200 calories in the day.
My breakfast is normally 1,500 calories, and Amy wants me to eat 1,200.
I have a small bowl of granola, and I think that's fine for a regular person.
God, my strongman career will be going down the toilet very quickly, I think.
So, options for life. But I think they all sound good. Give the people what they want, which is probably you suffering in some way, shape, or form. It seems to sell well.
Game Brothers, I thought we were friends, but it's obviously sabotaging me here.
I think it's too good to pass up. But actually, speaking about the fact that we're talking about other forms of exercise and everything, there's obviously a lot of different weight-related sports, weightlifting, powerlifting, things like that. Are those competitions still good for people who are going into strongman?
So you'll find basically any strength sport. I would never say, any strength sport is a way to get into strongman, because, for instance, powerlifting is a fantastic sport in its own right and is probably still bigger than strongman, especially in a number of countries. So I would never say, start this so you can go into strongman. If you are doing powerlifting or any of the strength sports and you go, I want to get into strongman or strongwoman, definitely it is going to benefit you. Any training, no matter what it is, even marathon running, any training, because obviously that'll give you cardio fitness. They'll all help you in any sport that you transition into. For me, I did powerlifting for 6 years at various levels. And of course that was a huge benefit to me when I decided to go into strongman, because a lot of the moves are very, very similar, but because I had a certain strength level when I transitioned over. But I would say, if you want to go into strongman or strongwoman, go for strongman, strongwoman. Don't think, I'll have to go and do certain strength sports and then go into it. You can start at strongman, strongwoman, and you can start at the base level, learn the moves, learn the form, same way as you would with any of the other sports, and progress the normal way. So definitely, anybody out there, if you haven't done any of those strength sports before, you can go straight to doing strongman.
Okay, so Game Rose has said Irish strength has no limits. So I suppose we should test them. You mentioned running a marathon, so maybe you should do that again as well. And get strong. Technically, changing gears and steering is already multitasking, so you're doing well. No, he is on a motorway and he is cruise controlling this car. You just did it to prove it wrong. That's it. And then actually the last question that was asked was good timing, because we are on our way back to the area where where the gym that you train at is. So we were asked, where do you train?
So it's a weird situation at the moment, which some of you will have seen with my videos. So traditionally, I've always trained back at the home sort of location back in Mullingar, and basically it's a private gym that I'm going to, and it's basically I've got a lot of strongman equipment, and that's where I normally have done all the videos that you'll have seen. Whereas now I've moved moved and I started a new job in Galway, which is in the west coast of Ireland. So I've had to move there, away from all of the strongman equipment, which makes it really tough. But I'm just training in a normal commercial gym, which is Energy Fitness. They have everything you'd need for normal fitness, for anybody going for a normal sort of gym session, or anybody even wanting to do powerlifting, fairly well sorted for all that. For strongman, unfortunately not. It's very, very limited. Hence why you see me driving back at the moment. I try and drive back and get at least 2 days of training with all the strongman equipment. Hopefully that will change where I'm able to sort of get access to strongman equipment a little bit more, but we'll have to just wait and see. It might be a lot of this driving back and forth for the time being. But yeah, that's the answer to that one.
Well, I don't know if we have any more questions, but we're at about the 26-minute mark for the live stream.
So what we'll do is, guys, if there is any more questions, pop them in the comments, or again over on Irish Strength Training, fire over there. And like I said, competition is next Saturday, so feel free to come down and view it if you can, or spectate. But I will have the live stream up for the whole day, so feel free to click on over and hopefully you'll see some of my lifts.
Jane has a question. What's your favourite lift versus your strongest lift?
That's actually a really good question, to be honest. We'll hit the strongest lift first.
It's not that I want to brag or anything, but I happen to be able to lift the size of a small cow.
This is abuse I put up with here. I need new staff. Anyone want a job being a camera person? So don't respond.
Is this a job? Do I get paid?
Moving on, answering questions. Strongest lift is the Yoke walk, which a lot of you will have seen recently. I hit the 305 kg, so 762 or something in pounds. No, 672 or something like that. I haven't hit the 700 yet, but I would hope to get that up to 350 kg by the summer, ideally. So that would be my strongest lift. My favourite lift, I think it's probably the dumbbell press, which, to be fair, nearly anybody can do in their gym. So it's that single arm pressing over the head with the monster dumbbell. Most people won't have access to a monster dumbbell, but you can do it with a normal dumbbell as well. And that's probably my favourite. I really love that because it's one of those iconic moves, but there's a lot of form in it, there's a lot of technique involved, and yeah, it's a really cool move and it's really fun. But the Yoke walk is one of those that you really start pushing the numbers up. The weightlifting geek, so give him a quick shout out. And again, I'll put his link in the description below. He's in their gym. They've started to get Atlas zones, but one of the things they've got in is a Yoke walk, and he's making crazy progress already. I think he did 200 kg there last week. So yeah, it's one of those moves that you can ramp up the weight quite quickly, and it's fun as well. But yeah, the dumbbell press is probably my favourite. And it knocks you out for the day afterwards. It does knock you out. Flu. Anybody that does the Yoke walk will know that there's a thing called the Yoke flu, the Yoke walk flu, and it hits your central nervous system so hard. It's similar to deadlifts, but a little bit more extreme. It hits your central nervous system so hard that you will come down most of the time with flu-like symptoms the next day. You're absolutely exhausted from it. So be aware of that if you do start doing Yoke walk. Yeah, and Gaines, he calls it abuse. I call it my payment for holding the phone for half an hour in a car and writing down all these questions. It's bicep training. I can see them growing. Look, it's, you know, I need one large bicep. Just to hold the phone for me. That's it. That won't look weird at all. Yeah, so I think that's us done. That is us done. Okay, guys, so again, keep in touch. Hit that subscribe button down below. Any comments, fire them in. I will get back to you. And any questions you have, click them on for the next one. And yeah, I'll keep you updated about that competition coming up next Saturday. But thank you very much to Amy for doing all the questions there. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one, guys.